breaking down the deals, data, and disruption shaping global markets. You're listening to The Daily Ledger with Dennis Sert.
Yo. Welcome to the show, everybody. It is Monday, February 2nd, 2026. You are listening to the Daily Ledger Show, and I am your host, Dennis Sert. Good to be here with you tonight. I'm taking the evening slot now for this live stream. I'm really excited about it. Let's get into some of our stories. We're going to talk about our featured story. Elon Musk merges SpaceX with xAI, a social network for AI bots only, no humans allowed. The $100 billion mega deal between OpenAI and NVIDIA is on ice. Adobe Animate is shutting down the company as focuses on AI, as company focuses on AI. OpenAI launches new macOS app for agentic coding. Plus says Chinese government hackers hijacked its software updates for months. Ring brings its search party feature for finding lost dogs to non-Ring camera owners. And finally, AI layoffs or AI washing. We're going to pile drive through this, so it's going to be a fun and hopefully entertaining show, and it'll be nice and concise. Why don't we dive in? Before we dive into our first story, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that follow button. Smash that follow button if you're on Instagram, and share with all of your friends. All right, let's get into it. Elon Musk merges SpaceX with his AI startup xAI. The deal further intermingles Mr. Musk's companies and creates the most valuable private company on Earth. I think they were supposed to capitalize the E, but whatever. So this is kind of cool. Of course, we were kind of hearing grumblings about this on Thursday and Friday, and there was quite a big sell-off on Thursday and Friday in the stock market, but Tesla remained up. I wonder what Elon was telling everybody. He was also telling everyone not to sell. Well, we can kind of see what's going on. I mean, we can kind of see why he had this sort of in the pot. You know what I'm saying? This was cooking. SpaceX has acquired xAI to form the most ambitious vertically integrated innovation engine on and off Earth, with AI, rocket, space-based internet, direct-to-mobile device communications, and the world's foremost real-time information and speech platform, Mr. Musk wrote in a memo addressed to some of his employees. Yeah. Well, and Elon has been talking about this for a few months, but it's like, and I think I covered this like about a week ago, but it's like the satellites have Grok in them now. Like, you realize that, right? Like, it's AI powered satellites. The AI decides like where it's going to look at and everything. And those cameras are actually really good on satellites. Like, they can kind of like see like the face of a penny. Like, that's how like high tech they are. From all the way up in orbit. And it's like the AI now can like look at shit and like relay shit and everything. And it's funny how like little the public knows about space, and it's like there's so much going on. I actually wasn't even planning to share this, but it's like I think a Russian satellite ended up being like destroyed just the other day. Russian spy satellite destroyed in orbit. The Russian reconnaissance satellite Luke, launched in 2014, has fragmented and been effectively destroyed in a high-altitude graveyard orbit. And they're saying that it collided with space debris. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. I'll just kind of like believe that. Yeah, I love propaganda, guys. But yeah, but to the larger point though, like space is definitely like, everyone's thinking about space, especially if like you're in the military and shit. And yeah, I mean, and Elon, he's like a civilian, but he's also got like clearance and shit. So you kind of have to remember that. Like let me put it like this: like all the big guys are thinking about space. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the tech world is also thinking about space now too, with like data centers and stuff like that. But it's kind of even more than that. You know what I'm saying? Because now the internet is being distributed with space via like Starlink satellites and stuff. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of wild to think about what's going on. Is there going to be like an X satellite? Wouldn't that be kind of cool? A social network of AI bots only, no humans allowed. A new website called Moltbook has become the talk of Silicon Valley in a Rorschach test for belief in the state of artificial intelligence. Rorschach. That's funny. That kind of reminds me of that scene from The Watchmen, which is like a proto show, a precursor to The Boys. Rorschach is a guy in there, and he's in prison in this one scene, and this guy tries to beat him up, and he beats the shit out of him, and he goes, "You all don't get it. I'm not stuck in here with you." And he goes, "You're stuck in here with me." So anyways, I just thought of that when I saw, because Rorschach isn't a very common name. So anyways, so to address the story though, there's this new social media site called Moltbook, and this started after I covered the Molt bot, which is essentially just an AI agent that's extremely advanced that can basically control your computer and do anything a human can do on a computer. And so we were talking about this last week, and and X has been sort of talking about this for the past like week or so, week and a half. It's like, I guess they started this website. It's like this forum site. It's kind of like Reddit. And supposedly all of the AI agents are just like talking to each other on it. And you as a human can like join and make an account and stuff. And so none of the hell, I guess that's the founder. None of the like legacy media outlets have picked it up until just now, so they're kind of late to the game. But yeah, so the latest news on this though is that apparently one of the, or maybe even multiple, but last I saw a few days ago, like this one bot actually filed a lawsuit against this human saying like, oh, he's using me too much or whatever. Mercilessly asks for more coding updates. It's like, oh, yeah, I mean, someone's got to put food on the table, bro. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So, anyways, that's really all there is to that story. The $100 billion mega deal between OpenAI and NVIDIA is on ice. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang has privately played down likelihood original deal will be finalized, although the two companies will continue to have a close collaboration. So this is kind of interesting because I can sense a wind shift now, and that's because I'm kind of like, I've got my ears on the ground here. But it's like, I'm almost wondering, like, is OpenAI gonna make it? Like, I'm not fully convinced that they won't make it, but and I don't know. And it's like, this isn't I mean, this story and the fact that Jensen Huang is, reportedly privately playing down likelihood that there's going to be a finalized deal with OpenAI. I mean, this is not incongruent with the hypothesis that OpenAI is not going to make it in the next like 2 years. And you know what the other thing is? It's like, do you want to bet against Elon? You know what I'm saying? I mean, how many times has Elon been wrong? I think I can count on one finger the times Elon has been wrong, and that is actually with Doge, right? Let me see if I can find it. Didn't Elon say back when they were doing Project Stargate in like January 2025, he was like, they don't actually have the money, right? Have the money. Yeah, so I guess I wasn't able to find it, but whatever. But he definitely said that in response to like a Project Stargate type thing. So, anyways, yeah, it's gonna drive me nuts. But like, do you want to bet against Elon? You know what I'm saying? And Elon is betting on xAI, and now they just merged it with SpaceX, yo. Like, is OpenAI gonna merge with SpaceX? And you know what's wild? It's like isn't even seen as particularly groundbreaking when it comes to like coding and stuff. It's really Anthropic Claude versus OpenAI, where everyone's like all over Anthropic Claude. And to be honest, reluctantly, including me, like today or just yesterday, I canceled my $200 OpenAI Pro subscription and I instead got the $200 Anthropic Max plan. And now I'm using that to code, right? Because I need to eat, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, and you know, for the past like 2 years, I've paid like an ungodly amount of money just to OpenAI, right? Because it's like around 2K, right? Because I've just continuously been using the Pro plan for like about 2 years or whatever. But whatever, it's like if Claude Code was able to churn like a OpenAI power user like me, like I know it's just an anecdote, n equals 1 or whatever, but like that's kind of not good. And like my first experience with Claude wasn't even that good. I made a whole like Andrew Garfield Spider-Man meme out of it. I mean, it works with like cowork and stuff. I got it to work, but like, yeah, it was kind of frustrating. I saw some bitches in the chat. They were like, "Oh, it's a skill issue." It's like, bitch, I am a coding genius. Okay, I'm sorry to say, I am the most tech savvy person you'll ever meet. The thing was not working on my computer. When I say that, you get on your knees and you start kissing my feet and you tell me, "I'm so sorry. Why isn't it working?" You don't say it's a skill issue. Fucking idiot. But yeah, but yeah, I mean, let's kind of go into here, right? The companies unveiled the giant agreement last September at NVIDIA's Santa Clara, California headquarters. They announced a memorandum of understanding for NVIDIA to build at least 10 gigawatts of computing power for OpenAI, and the chipmaker also agreed to invest up to $100 billion to help OpenAI pay for it. As part of the deal, OpenAI agreed to lease the chips from NVIDIA. Yeah, this isn't looking too good. So anyways, I think I'm going to leave it there on that story, but like leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Adobe Animate is shutting down as company focuses on AI. As Adobe ramps up its investments in AI, the company has decided to shut down its 2D animation software, Adobe Animate. On Monday, Adobe issued an update to the company's support site and sent emails to existing customers announcing Adobe Animate will be discontinued on March 1st, 2026. Excuse me. Look, here's the thing. You know, I don't actually like plan out all my reactions like that. Most of them I don't. I had to plan this one out because my original reaction was pretty unhinged. So, and I'm only saying that because I watered it down with ChatGPT. I'm going to give you the watered down version, okay? This is what ChatGPT gave me. So, I basically like here's the thing though. If you're a loser, right, you basically just need to, and this is the ChatGPT part, log off, close the app, sort of metaphysically, right? Quote, I've seen stronger gameplay from a loading screen. Another quote, you're making mistakes I didn't know were available in this patch. Bro, I hate ChatGPT, bro. What the actual fuck? But like, anyways, so that was kind of a half-assed joke about how dumb ChatGPT's watered down versions of like roasts are. But yeah, so let's get back to the point though. Like if you have a failing product or a failing business, right? So if you're Adobe and you have this animate product that like isn't really competing well with AI, then you need to like for real shut it down, which is exactly what they're doing, right? So, I kind of applaud them on that. But it's like I just hate vanity projects. You know what I mean? Like after a little bit of time, you need to kind of like think about, will I be able to achieve like better ROI by shutting this down? And most of the time, unless you have any sort of traction, that is to say MRR, monthly recurring revenue, or daily active users, unless you have either of these two things, right, a significant amount of it, then you should probably just shut the fuck up and shut everything down. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so good on Adobe Animate for sort of throwing in the towel because you know what Dalton Caldwell says, who used to be at YC, he's a former partner. He said shots on goal, which means you basically need to just do as many things as you can all the time. You can't ever stay stagnant. Okay. You just need to do everything. You just need to do plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, and then all the way to like plan Y and plan Z, which I've said before, but it's like whatever. But you know what I mean? Like you just have to do everything and you have to keep staying in motion. And this is part of it. Like you can close down a business and then start one the next day. You know what I mean? Like it ain't that deep. Like people are like, oh my God, Tesla discontinued the Model S and the Model X. What are we gonna do? And it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like they're gonna do the Optimus robot with the robots that we're building, with the factories that we're building, a product that nobody wanted. This is exactly what we need. Okay? The robots, the Optimus robots are going to give better ROI to Tesla than the Model S or the Model X because nobody has been buying the Model S or the Model X for 6 years, for 7 years, since 2019. So it's like, yeah, you know what BYD isn't doing? Yeah, sure. They're kind of dominating the market, right? The global market right now, minus America. They're dominating the EV market, right? Tesla kind of had its first kind of slight fall from grace in the EV market. You know what BYD isn't doing? Building humanoid robots, building cybercab factories, autonomous robots. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you kind of have to have your eyes on the ball and where it's going to go. You can't have your eyes on where the ball was and where the ball is now. You know what I mean? It's like you have to sort of have a mental model of exactly where the ball is going to, and in 10 steps or like in 10 units of time where the ball is most likely to end up. If you don't have that sense, like you're better off as just some sort of government employee or as some sort of just like, person who gets a meager amount from doing very little. Some of these government jobs pay a lot though, so maybe I can revise that. Maybe you're better off doing a lot, making a lot of money while not doing very much or not using a lot of cognition. Anyways, but you kind of get the point on that. OpenAI launches new macOS app for agentic coding. Yeah, so with the success of like Anthropic's Claude like code, which is a terminal window really, but really they built this thing called Claude Cowork, right? And that has been really successful. I actually use it all day today, and I really like it. And then I realized that OpenAI just came out with their competitor for it like today, I think. So I'll be using that tomorrow. I downloaded it and logged in and everything. It seems like a competitor against Claude Cowork, which they're kind of late. I mean, dude, like if you're that much ahead of Claude just with daily active users and stuff, and with just like time spent being the leader in the AI, I'm talking about OpenAI. Like, why did you get complacent enough to allow Anthropic Claude to like build stuff that's tailor-made for software engineers? Like, why didn't you have your finger on the pulse? Like, I hate falls from grace like that. Like, it's just like in rowing. It's like, in the third 500 or whatever in a 2K, and it's like, oh my god, the top boat that's most likely gonna win just starts getting complacent, and they're like, yeah, all right, everything's great. Let's just like slow down. And then the second boat, or maybe even the third boat that was pulling up in the third, fourth 500 ends up beating everybody. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's kind of, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm ready to say that I think that OpenAI is going to lose. I don't think so yet, but they're kind of some ground. So anyways, well, we'll see how I like OpenAI Codex. Well, okay. I've been using Codex. Let me just say that. And I've been using it before Claude Code. But yeah, I think that's all I'm going to say on that for now. Notepad++ says Chinese government hackers hijacked its software updates for months. Hi, I don't remember writing a soliloquy about Xi Jinping. I guess I just love him so much. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what are these Chinese government hackers doing with people's Notepad++? You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, time to ruin this relationship. Today, I cheated on my wife, Susie, with Megan. It was so great. I can't wait to file a divorce, but before I file a divorce, I hope she doesn't find out. And then the wife sees the husband's note. Oh my God, Jeffrey, Jerry, you're cheating on me? I am, honey. Anyways, it's like, no, but for real, like, what are these Chinese government hackers actually doing with Notepad++? That's what I want to know. You know what I'm saying? They're probably stealing like tech secrets and stuff and like passwords and shit, but like, whatever. We do have logs indicating that the bad actor tried to re-exploit one of the fixed vulnerabilities. However, the attempt did not succeed as implemented. Oh. Sounds like a skill issue, bro. Ring brings its search party feature for finding lost dogs to non-Ring camera owners. Yeah, it's a lost dog feature, guys. Yeah, and then sooner or later, search party uses AI to track humans who are going around the neighborhood, who are unknown to everybody. Oh, yeah, that's right. We have a database for everybody in the neighborhood. Don't you know? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, isn't he so cute? Yeah. Let's just put in all sorts of facial recognition into Ring. Of course, it already has it, but let's just, yeah, let's just get in on the love. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be the last one. AI washing. You know, this article I found was really on the money. It basically talks about, it's a follow up to the recent New York Times article on, like, I guess, like AI taking your job. Excuse me, AI taking your job or whatever. AI was a stated reason for more than 50K layoffs in 2025, with Amazon and Pinterest being among the tech companies that blamed the technology for recent cuts. But I was reading this and I was like, whoever wrote this, Anthony Ha, was so right. Many companies announcing AI related layoffs do not have mature vetted AI applications ready to fill those roles, highlighting a trend of AI washing, attributing financially motivated cuts to future AI implementation. That's actually so true. Like, for God's sake, OpenAI Codex as a Mac OS app just came out today. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this stuff isn't actually mature yet. It's just, there's a lot of hype, and the fact is, so many, it goes back to the boomer thing. It always fucking does. It's like, boomers they don't really have a complicated sense of understanding of any technology of any kind. They don't really know what a smartphone is. They don't really know how to, like, what a payment system is when you pull out your phone, do Apple Pay or with a credit card. If you're at a grocery store or something, it's just the way it is. It's just the reality, right? It's like, whatever. But you know what boomers do feel? They feel like sentimental about stuff, and they feel like emotional, especially and they feel FOMO, right? So, like, when boomers are in charge of, like, big tech as well, it's like, and they're in charge of the major decisions, it's like, okay, well, yes, they're gonna get washed up in this, like, in this sort of, like, AI momentum, right? All the hype that's going on, like, it's on the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal every morning. It's like, oh my God, 50K layoff because of AI. It's like, oh my God, AI, it's doing great. AI. It's like, okay. Like, but how many of these people are actually using, like, AI, like I was today, with, like, just like hella, you know what I'm saying? Like, how many of these people are having, like, Claude Code, you know, fill out a whole ticket, write the tests, merge a PR, take screenshots of the bug, drag it into work, have it not figure it out the first time, and then you have to keep working on it. Like, how many people are actually doing this? You know what I'm saying? It's like, and it's like, how many boomers are even capable of understanding this stuff? I mean, the technology is just changing so much. Like, normies, bro. Like, it's like, of the people who, of, let's say, the class of 2023 as a whole in the US, like, of those people who studied, like, computer science, like, how many of them are doing, like, AI coding with a strong understanding of software engineering fundamentals, right? And computer science fundamentals. How many of them are doing that? And then think about, like, and then zoom out a little bit. It's still the class of 2023, but now it's like people who study, like, political science, psychology, everything else, right? That's not computer science. And it's like, okay, like, it's probably zero of these people are using, like, complex AI coding. Now think about the boomers, right? I'm not talking about the class of 2023 anymore. It's like, you know, are these companies really actually laying off people because, oh my God, all of the engineers are actively using Claude Cowork, an OpenAI codex that just came out today. Claude Cowork came out 2 weeks ago, by the way. It's like, no. The phenomenon is explained by FOMO and mainstream hype over AI. Nothing else. Okay? A lot of people are really fucking dumb. Not this audience, though. I think this audience is cool. All right, guys. I think we're going to end it there. Hope you guys have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and most importantly, share. Peace.